International Monetary Fund Part 3. Before watching this video, you should watch the previous videos. It may be confusing if there is a lack of continuation. International Monetary Fund. In this video, we are going to discuss about SDR basket. What is SDR? Special drawing right. Why did IMF create SDR? Chinese renminbi as new currency in SDR. IMF quota system. What is IMF quota system? How do IMF determines quota? And IMF reforms. First about SDR, special drawing right. International Monetary Fund, SDR, special drawing right. SDR is an artificial currency used by International Monetary Fund. SDR is also called as paper gold. The SDR is an international type of monetary reserve currency created by the IMF in 1969 that operate as a supplement to the existing reserve of member countries. Monetary reserve means a nation assets held in a foreign currency and or commodities like gold and silver. So the SDR is an international type of monetary reserve currency that is used by IMF. We have discussed about the fixed exchange regime system in the previous video. In fixed exchange system, 1 ounce gold was fixed as $35. Cold War, Vietnam War, which led to a sizable increase in domestic spending in USA, and gold became more expensive. That means in market the rate of 1 ounce gold is more than $35. Most of the countries demand their gold in return. The Bretton Woods system breakdown after world adopted floating system. All these have discussed in previous video. In 1973, SDR is redefined as basket of currencies. Consists of the US dollar, euro, Japanese yen and pound sterling. And effective on October 1st, 2016, the basket will be expanded to include the Chinese renminbi. The new currency that is included in SDR is Chinese renminbi. Once more, SDR is not a currency but unit of account of the International Monetary Fund. In Bretton Woods exchange rate system, a country needed official reserves that could be used to purchase a domestic currency in foreign exchange market as required to maintain its exchange rate. Gold and US dollar proved inadequate for supporting the expansion of world trade and financial flows, so created a new reserve currency, special drawing right. Monetary reserve means a nation's assets held in foreign reserves or other commodities like gold and silver. Total of nation holdings of tradable foreign currencies. So the foreign exchange reserve or forex or FX reserves. These are the assets held by central bank usually in various reserve currencies. Reserve currencies simplify international trade. How? We know crude oil is sold by Gulf countries. If every country is going to buy crude oil with their own currencies, that means India in rupee, US in dollar and Britain in pound sterling and so on. So it is difficult to maintain stability. US dollar is the reserve currency that is widely accepted. So you can pay your money in US dollar. SDR is the reserve currency that is created by IMF. The weight assigned to each currency in SDR basket is multiplied with current exchange rate. The highest percentage is assigned to US dollar, 41.73%, Euro, 30.93%, Chinese renminbi that is included recently, 10.92%, Japanese yen, 8.33%, pound sterling 8.09 and total 100. and this weight is multiplied with the current exchange rate in US dollar. SDR. Effective on October 1st, 2016, the SDR basket will be expanded to include the Chinese renminbi. Requirement for SDR basket inclusion: being a large exporter, a currency that is freely usable, that means widely traded in global market. Inclusion in SDR basket can give some benefit for Chinese currency. These are some benefit for Yuan as an SDR currency. Internationalization of Yuan. It will increase the demand for Yuan. It will lower Chinese companies' borrowing cost. Next, International Monetary Fund quota system. When a country joins the International Monetary Fund, it is assigned an initial quota, a proportional share assigned to each member, and this quota determines the following: the country's financial contribution to the International Monetary Fund, its voting power, its ability to access IMF financing. And the International Monetary Fund is funded mainly through its quota contribution from its members. When a country joins the International Monetary Fund, it is assigned an initial quota, and this quota determines the country's financial contribution to the International Monetary Fund, its voting power, its ability to access IMF financing. Higher the quotas, higher the facilities. The United States currently has the largest quota and have higher decision-making power. Remember, members cannot increase their quota without executive board approval. Quota is determined by these factors. Average GDP is given weightage of 50%. Here GDP in market exchange rate is given 60% weightage, and purchase power parity exchange rate, that is 40% weightage. And openness of the economy is given 30% weightage. Economic variability 15%, and the international reserve 5%. Just remember these terms. Next, voting power. Each member has a number of basic votes, that is 5.502% of the total votes, plus one additional vote for each SDR of 1 lakh of a member's country's quota. Here, one additional vote for each SDR of 1 lakh of a member country's quota. So the largest quota member has the highest decision-making power. USA, the largest quota holder, has the highest decision-making power. The 2010 reform was not able to pass without US approval because 85% of the approval is needed for reform, and the American holds more than 16% of voting power. So without American approval, 85% is not possible, because they are holding more than 60% of voting power. 100 minus 16, 84. Here need 85%. American holds more than 16% of voting power. So the US approval is essential for 2010 reform. International Monetary Fund reforms. Highlights of the 2010 International Monetary Fund reform. Higher representation of emerging economies like India, China, Brazil, Russia, and they get more voting power. India, China, Brazil, and Russia will be among 10 largest members of IMF. India's voting right increased to 2.6% from 2.3%, that is 0.3% increase. China's voting right increased to 6% from 3.8%, that is 2.2% increase. Russia and Brazil also have gained from reforms. US share, there is marginal decrease only to 16.5% from 16.7%. More than 6% of the quota share will shift to emerging countries from USA and European Union. China will be third largest quota holder after US and Japan. International Monetary Fund 2010 reforms are the highlights. Increase the financial strength of the International Monetary Fund by doubling its capital permanent resources to $659 billion. The quota shares and voting power of the International Monetary Fund's poorest member countries will be protected. The other two provisions: increase the financial strength of the IMF. The quota shares and voting power of the IMF's poorest member countries will be protected. After 2010 reforms, for the first time, the IMF's executive board will consist entirely of elected executive directors, and here ending the category of appointed executive directors. That means, before 2010 reforms, the members with the 5 largest quotas appoint an executive director. After 2010 reforms, the entire executive directors will be elected, and here ending the category of appointed executive directors by largest 5 quota holders. International Monetary Fund reforms were agreed in 2010 and 188 members gave its approval. But 85% of the approval is needed for the reform, and US holds more than 16%. Their implementation got delayed due to the time taken by the US Congress to approve the reforms. US approved the reforms in December 2015. There is a marginal drop in US share from 16.7% to 16.5%. Still, US is the largest quota holder in IMF. Largest 10 member of International Monetary Fund: USA, Japan, China, Germany, United Kingdom, France, Italy, India, and Russia. In next video, the last video of this series, we will discuss IMF criticism, achievements and failures.